Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Hoping you're well. I have had a bit of a difficult day. I went on a bike ride. I was supposed to do, I think it was like 45 kilometers because it's 23 in and 23 coming back. And my back tire exploded. I got busted. I went into a I should have been more careful. I guess it was my fault, but now I gotta fix the bike, and it's it's a bummer because I had been on a streak of going out to bike at least 25 kilometers 3 4 times a week, which is really good for me. It's been a while since I've been doing so much exercise. Um, let's give some time for more people to come on over before I start telling you what's been going on, what's going to happen in the next weeks, and our current situation with the website, with the lawsuits that I'm planning on filing against certain people and certain platforms. Because, I've tried to take the high road, I've tried to be a good guy, a good Christian. I pray for my enemies. I've prayed to God to help me control my temper, especially uh, to break down my any notion of pride that I have, and also to give me more energy because I was very lethargic for a while there. And He answered. He answered my prayers. I've been feeling great. I've been with tons of energy. Like I've been doing 16-hour, 17-hour days without effort, without napping even. And the last 2 or 3 days, I had to nap because I was already a bit tired. But I guess it's also because, well, I'll tell you in a bit. Let's watch a couple of videos to give more time for more people to come on over. And again, thank you for being here and being part of Total Disclosure. God bless.
Was the CIA's notorious mind control program designed to wipe memories. For those that don't pay attention, you might never notice that every single time an actor, musician, or anyone related from Hollywood is about to become more famous or move up the ladder, they always seem to reappear with bleached blonde hair. There is no way this is just a coincidence. I have never met any man or groups of men who wish to dye their hair bleach blonde. It just doesn't happen. How far does MK Ultra go? Memory suppression.
It's been.
Do you have a release date?
You know what? They did the Brighter Days memory erasure treatment to me, so I'm having trouble remembering the details. They're foggy because at the Brighter Days clinic they do the memory erasure.
The what? The what?
The memory erasure. They erase my memory. It's a little foggy, but
Man, give me a date. Give me a date.
you know what? I'll have to go back to the clinic and see if they can restore my
Is it
memory.
going to be?
Brighter Days memory erasure treatment.
Be friends, but I'd like to just.
So you probably ask yourself, why would someone as rich and famous and Ariana Grande want her memory surpassed? It's
Well, let's comment on that a bit. I hope my microphone is working well. The cable is a bit flaky. So, in regards to this situation of mind control programming, MK Ultra, and the bleaching of the memories, colors are a very symbolical thing in secret societies, and you know. The hair is also something that is very much connected with um, our our memories. Hair actually records a great deal of what we do, what we consume. This is why, even after months, they can grab a piece of your hair and find out if you did a certain drug or not. Um, it's also supposed to be, this is something that a lot of people seem to believe as true. Hair is supposed to be connected to our gut feeling, to our instincts, to our perception of our surroundings when we're not using our eyes, our ears, our smell. Uh, Hair has a way of letting us know of dangers nearby and such. So, when this whole Ariana Grande thing came about, it was funny because I always have people saying, there's always someone uh, trying to normalize these things, saying, it was a joke, guy. Don't take it so seriously. I think you're crazy. Blah blah blah. It's part of the game. There's always going to be naysayers, and of course, if the person is polite and it's not trolling and trying to be cute, I will engage and make my case, right? I don't think she was joking. The thing with Ariana Grande is that she has been involved in a bunch of crazy stuff, including, well, the sacrifice of Mac Miller, who I used to like a lot. In fact, one of his songs, I believe it's called "What's the Use." It's one of my all-time favorites. I think it's a masterpiece. The guy was, I think he had a good heart, and of course he was involved with the industry, and that comes with a price, and perhaps he paid his. But one thing is certain: Ariana has been groomed and um, programmed since a very young, tender age. You guys can see her times at Nickelodeon and her being surrounded by this horrible person. What's his name? Dan Schneider, the producer of a bunch of shows there with kids on Nickelodeon. a pedophile and someone that has abused several child actresses. Ariana Grande being one of them. Of course, we know about Amanda Bynes, and there's also this rumors of Selena Gomez and Britney Spears' younger sister, Jamie Lynn. Those are like the most known cases. There's also this blonde actress that she just ended up quitting acting altogether, but I cannot recall her name right now. Anyways, if you don't believe that Ariana Grande is basically a mind control sex slave, sex kidding, as they say, well, I don't know what else are you looking for to categorize someone as being part of that operation, because she has all the details. And, allegedly she has been passed around to politicians and muggles and producers and you name it. Um, Poor girl. Now the poor girl is very much involved in witchcraft. Let's not forget the Manchester terrorist attack during one of her concerts. I believe this was early 2017. Yeah, early 2017, just before Chris Chester got murdered. I think it was after Chris got murdered and before Chester got murdered. Because I remember Chester talking about it on, I believe, his last concert, which was in England. I don't recall in which exact city right now, but that's something to talk about. Um, Mind control is real. Mind programming is very real. And yes, when a celebrity bleach or a sports person or a, I don't know, politician with, but that's a bit more rare because they have certain etiquette, right? They appear out of nowhere with a bleached hair. More than likely, they just went through a reprogramming. Usually, programming doesn't last forever. There are certain events in a person's life that cause a certain programming to lose its attachment. Sometimes certain programs are attached to certain alter egos, and those of us who have been through SRA or, well, I guess I went through SRA, but I don't know if I was like program because I guess it only lasted for a year when I was very little. But some of these people have gone through programs that perhaps last for 3, 4, 5 years, and they go to even deeper levels of torture and you know filth. In my case, I'm very fortunate because I was able to see uh, the reality of it, and even though that fucked up my childhood a bit, it wasn't as, I don't want to compare it to the most egregious cases I've seen. Having worked with many survivors and having listened to their stories, obviously comparing is part of our coping mechanisms in a way. Talking with other people that have gone through similar stuff and you know uh, seeing what we have in common, what this person suffer more, what I suffer more, and it's part of the coping mechanism. It's not like you can say no, I won't do that because it's not proper, or it's not the timing, or it's something that we do naturally. um but yeah, I would like to say I'm very fortunate because comparing with other cases I've worked with, people I know like Fiona, or what I've read that has happened to Rachel, who I've had, Rachel Bong, who I have spoke with on certain occasions. Um, I'm very very fortunate. But yes, for example, Chester Bennington got his hair bleached a couple times. Um, Norman, no. As far as I'm concerned, I wasn't. Of course, everything is possible because when you're drugged, there's not much not much you can tell about what happened during those hours in which you were out. Um, some of those, because there were different drugs. Some drugs were just to make us do bad shit, crazy stuff. Uh, at the snap of a finger, without like almost losing your complete will. I don't know if they were using this flour that they get in Colombia and Costa Rica, which they make it into a powder. They just blow it in your face, and then you are just like a drone, basically. That's a possibility. I do remember that the drug that they used to give us at the very beginning before everything started, and it was a green liquid, a green syrup. It came with a drops. They put 3 4 drops in our tongues. It tasted like hell. It was also very spicy. I don't know what it was. I don't know what it was, but it was horrible. It was hot, spicy, hard to hard on the mouth, hard on the taste. And 5 minutes later, I wouldn't remember anything. So that usually happened during the first recess, and then there were some times in which I did come to my senses in the middle of the rituals, and they seemed to like that. Like that was like the goal for me to came on to my senses and regain my consciousness in the middle of it. Once I was already tied up. Um, but yeah, that's that's what I remember. I don't know if they used other drugs. I assume they did. There's many things they could have put in our beverages, for example, that I wouldn't know. They wouldn't have told me. And because I was victim of these people for only a year, because then I guess the discovery, my ability to decipher more things is limited. That said, I don't think I have a chip in me, but anything is possible. Um, Now, one of the things I wanted to comment about that Ariana Grande video is that when Chris Cornell came out of this rehab center, Promises in California, he had a reprogramming session there, and he came out with his hair blonde, bleached, and that was the exact same moment in which he made two choices that were huge changes in his life. The first one, and I'm talking, this is 2001. This is 2001. Yes, because the self-titled record for Audioslave came out in 2002, if I'm not mistaken, and it just completely exploded. It went to number one, and throughout 2003, they had a great tour, a very successful tour, promoting the record, and their videos were being played on MTV all the time. I remember Like a Stone, Show Me How to Live, Cochise, and I believe there were a total of 4 singles. Nevertheless, my favorite songs for that record, well, I like a Stone a lot. A lot. It's a very good song. It's a piece of art. I like Set It Off, The Last Remaining Light, Gasoline, and there's another one that I cannot recall. But the concert that they did on that rooftop in New York was amazing. So the moment that Chris came out of that rehab center, he made two choices. And you tell me if it's a coincidence, right? He decided to divorce Susan Silver, his wife since what? They were married since 1990. She was the manager for Soundgarden, Alice in Chains, and Screaming Trees. Very much connected. She's connected with the industry. One of her best friends is CIA asset Gloria Steinem. So that right there tells you, you know, she was a handler too. Has been a handler, and she's supposed to be Jewish. So, you know, ish. As far as Chris goes, his family is actually Irish, from Irish descendants and Roman Catholic. Um, but the other decision that Chris took was to basically abandon his solo career and start a band with the guys from Rage Against the Machine, who we all know that, for example, the guitar player, Tom Morello, it's a CIA asset. His mother used to work for the CIA. The drummer was the boyfriend of Juliette Lewis, who has been also a Sex Kitten MK Ultra programmed asset, a lady that has been put in compromising positions while in Hollywood. For example, she appears on Cape Fear with Robert De Niro in a horrible, perverted scene in which she was 17 at the time. And I believe De Niro was like 35 or 38, something nasty like that. So Juliet, who is a musician as well, she had a band called Juliet and the Licks. Um, all those things come together, along with producer, Zionist, producer, Satanist, however you want to call him, Rick Rubin, who also produced like 3 records for Linkin Park. So everything is connected. Everything that you're seeing with the Diddy situation, um, it's it's just the tip of the iceberg. All these Jewish executives, the Velvet Mafia, as it's commonly known, are involved in it. All the mind control, the SRA, and basically the destruction of artists who don't play by the rules. Clive Davis, David Geffen, uh, you know, Tommy Motola is another example. There's many people that you don't really know their names. You don't really hear them out there, but they are there at the top. And yes, all a coincidence. Adrian, glad to have you here. Adrian is one of our producers and one of my best friends, our best friends, my wife and I. My wife is not here because she's working. She's an interpreter from Portuguese and English. So I basically work the hours that she's working for us to have time together, quality time together. And so let me get into my absence and what happened and why it was so difficult to come back, and what were the challenges that I faced while away from home and the challenges that I'm facing now. Um, I guess both of us. I left to visit my family in Costa Rica on March 21st, and just 2 weeks before leaving, I was already a bit absent because I was preparing everything. My wife had gone to my father's-in-law's apartment house a week or two before I stayed here with the cat by myself, preparing a lot of things, and you know, I just there's not much space at my at my father-in-law's house, so naturally it was best if she went by herself. The situation was difficult because we weren't prepared for 2 things. The first one I would say is that some banks are very unreliable in Costa Rica. And whereas my Wise card, which is the one I use for international stuff, works everywhere in Europe, easy. In Costa Rica, it only works in one bank. And I don't know what happened, but it was working in another bank that was in front of where I was staying. And that worked for like 2 or 3 days. And then they blocked the access of these cards to be able to get cash at the ATM. So I don't know if I provoked that. I guess I did. But that was a bit of a hiccup. And luckily, I was completely out of cash. Also, Stripe started I don't want to curse, but started screwing with my payments. Whereas they used to arrive on the same day I requested them. They were taking 2 3 days, so that caused a bit of problem with my budget and my planification. There was an Airbnb that we had already paid for, like for the whole week, and we discovered cameras inside of it, in the room, everywhere. It was horrible. My wife was freaking out. I basically have a gadget that detects these things, cameras hidden and stuff. And I found them. They were one was in the closet, the other one was in one of the light interrupters. The other one was the most obvious one was in the modem. Then there was a smoke alarm that didn't detect any smoke because we were smoking inside the Airbnb, and it was just a camera. We found like five. Naturally, we got out of Dodge. You don't know what kind of people are doing that, and it was just very freaky. My main concern, naturally, because we're in Costa Rica, was to keep my wife safe. Costa Rica used to be a paradise as far as safety goes. Nowadays, I'm sorry to say this because I love where I was born and grew up, uh, but it's becoming a narco state, just like Mexico or just like Colombia was in the 90s. There's a lot of petty crime, especially in the capital. And yes, Norma, you're right. The government has said yes. I mean, I have to be honest with you guys. I grew up there. You know my story. My mom is from New Jersey. My grandma is American. My aunt is American. She lives in Illinois. Um, my cousin is a policeman. I'm not gonna say the precinct because for obvious reasons. And I have other cousins around there. One of my cousins works in a record, not a record label, but a record shop. She sells records. Just a normal uh, indie kind of deal. And my other cousin is a nurse in a big hospital in North Carolina. So obviously, American culture, American way of life has always been part of my life. Um, all governments are corrupt, all of them. There's not one single government that is not corrupt, as far as I know, and some of them play the part of being the most just at a certain time. But all of them, and I'm sorry, I don't want to be a black pill, as they call me. Oh, you are just focused on the negative. You're just depressing. You're just no. I'm sorry, but I'm not naive. And if you're gonna try to convince me that someone is legit, I don't want to see some freaking symbolism. I don't want to see them going to the wall of whale and doing this with the kippah. I don't want them doing Israel's, dirty work. I don't want them flip flopping. I don't want them wishy washy. If you're gonna tell me someone is good, they better have a pristine record. Uh, at the very least for the last years. We all make mistakes. We all have been young. Past some age, if you're fucked up in the head, odds are you're gonna be fucked up in the head for the long run. My opinion. Um, I would stay away from Costa Rica for two main reasons. The crime is out of control. Um, Drug dealers, narco traffic, they control everything. The politicians, everything, everything. It's just the last time I was there I left my wife and I married there, and we came over to Portugal in August 2022. And since then, inflation has skyrocketed. Like things on the supermarket cost three times what they cost here. I'm not even kidding. My aunt went to the store once and bought like these aloe vera beverages that are very nice. I love them personally. Um, and some bag of chips, big chips, and she paid $24 for that. I don't know in what universe you buy a bag of chips, which should be, I don't know, $2 at the most, three, maybe 250 with the current inflation, and 2 liters of aloe vera, which is a bit fancy drink. It's healthy, whatever. Um, each one of those should be $5 at the most. So we're talking about it should be $12, $13. She paid 24. Um, it was out of control. That's why I also had a bit of problems because I wasn't expecting for things to be so expensive, and that's on me. I should have done better research, and it's just crazy. Here, this is the number one reason why my wife and I decided to live here and to raise our children here is because it doesn't compare. We don't live in Lisbon. Lisbon is a shithole too. I mean, I'm sorry. It's nicer than Costa Rica. It's nicer than San Jose, certainly. But we live in the provinces. We live in a village where we're just surrounded by fellow people who have similar values. Mostly old people, actually, because sadly Europeans haven't been having kids for the last 2 3 decades. We have been told, us white people. Okay, I'm back. Let me see if you guys hear me. If not, I will just get rid of this microphone. Okay, great. Okay, so we're back. So yeah, what I was telling you guys, don't go to Costa Rica. It's not worth it. The natural beauty is amazing. Yes, it is. But the expenses, I don't know how even my family survives down there. I gotta be honest. Uh, Gladly, my brother helps them a lot. He has a very good career. He's a coder, works for an American company, and he does all right. He also won the world championship of Muay Thai, which is the Thailandese version of kickboxing, the original kickboxing, actually. So he's doing quite well. He's the one that is supposed to help me with the website, but we'll touch on that later. Um, but yeah, I would rather have you guys going to even Colombia is safer nowadays and cheaper. Mexico is cheaper, but Mexico is not safer. It's so so. Um, at least my last time in Mexico was a bit dodgy. We stayed in a hotel that, quite frankly, I could swear it was owned by a cartel. The guy at the reception was super weird, super sketchy. I basically slept with a knife under my pillow just in case something weird happened. Nothing happened, thank God. But there's other places in America, South America, Central America that are safer and more. Your buck goes a longer way. For example, El Salvador now with Bukele, who you know, uh, Bukele is, you could say, is my favorite current politician because he has performed a miracle in that society. El Salvador always had a terrible reputation. Whereas in the 90s, Costa Rica was amazing safety wise and even with the prices. After 2005, 2006, things went to hell. Drugs do that, especially when the government is acting like they're fighting drugs and they're actually selling, they're actually protecting the big guys, the big cartels, just like it happens in the States. You have the CIA moving all the drugs with the help of the entertainment industry. A lot of actors, a lot of actresses, a lot of musicians move the drugs using their private planes with the blessing of the CIA. You know, that much I can tell you. In Costa Rica, it's no different. It's just that we don't have an entertainment industry per se. It's like a clique of, I don't know, 300 people, which I formed part of at a certain time. But you're not gonna find the same level of corruption, same level of money, same level of power as in the States. Obviously, I wouldn't recommend Costa Rica. I'm not going back in a long while. I mean, that makes me sad because obviously I miss my family. I miss my mother. I miss my grandma, especially my grandma because she is 86. So for obvious reasons, I would like to spend more time with her. But it is what it is. My wife and I decided to make our lives here because of safety, because of the quality of life, because of the culture. Um, we want to raise our kids in a safe environment where they can go out and play at 9 p.m. in the street and nothing happens. Here, we hear children playing, laughing outside our door at midnight on a Friday night. Nothing happens. I mean, there's been a couple of events, but you know, what would you guess that those people that tried to abuse a couple of girls, teenage girls, were not Portuguese? They were imported people from India and Bangladesh, which is one of the big problems we're having in Portugal and all over Europe. To be honest, maybe you could count out some places in Eastern Europe like Poland, Czech Republic, Hungary, Croatia, Serbia. they have a limited amount of migrants, which is always good because you want to live in a homogeneous society. It's just healthier. It's just safer. It's better for everyone. Um, but yeah, finishing with the Costa Rica thing, um, those complications made it so that my wife and I couldn't relax. I was planning, almost planning like a second honeymoon, for us to rekindle and to have a great time. And with all the stress and all the situations, it was very hard. Thanks to Adrian, thanks to Kathy, Kathy from Florida, and Adrian from a mysterious location. We had a great. We were able to at least have a decent time. They sent us some cash when we were running low on some emergencies, and they're just God sent angels. They have been since the day we met, and I appreciate them. I have no words to thank them, to be honest, and I hope that um, once I get my stuff in order, because I'm gonna touch the situation with total disclosure in a bit. But to finish with the trip, my wife came back because she needed to come back to work. She came back on April 4th or April 3rd, and I stayed a month and a half more by myself. The first 2 weeks I stayed at some Airbnb. Terrible. The first week I had this fucking guy kick my door like at 1 a.m. This Okay, I don't want to curse again. I tend to do that. It's my it's the habit. Bad habits die hard. They say no. This guy was trash. Just talking badly to his wife, his daughter. He was renting the place next to me, and it was horrible. The second night that I was there by myself, my wife had already came back to Portugal. This fucking guy did a party there, and I don't know what was the deal. There was like three guys and like nine women, eight women. I don't know if there were prostitutes. I don't know what was the deal. I mind my own business. Obviously, if that was my house, I would say something, but it's not my house. It's an Airbnb. So, and one of these fucking guys, I'm sorry for that, kicks my door at 1 a.m. or something like that. And I was fuming because I was already annoyed by the noise. And I said, well, I'm not gonna open this door because if I open this door, I'm gonna end up in jail. You know what I mean? If someone goes as far as to kick your door for whatever reason, to troll, to act funny, to be an idiot, or because he's too drunk, I don't care what the reason is. If you kick my door at 1 a.m. and I feel threatened, I'm gonna smash you. And you know, I don't want to get arrested in Costa Rica and be held there while my wife is here, obviously. So I let it go. They left like 2 days later. I left like a week after. The Airbnb was horrible. Never rent an Airbnb lower than $50 a night. It's going to be a dump. If you can, pay a bit more than that. To make the story short, I ended up staying the rest of the trip with my mom and my grandma, which was the best decision. Obviously, I needed to spend time with them, and it was worth it. It was worth it. We had great conversations. We had a great time. I was able to share a lot of things with them. I was able to hear my grandma's stories, some things that about our family that I didn't know. You know, for example, she was telling me the story of my Spanish great grandpa who migrated to Costa Rica from Valencia, Spain, and he was supposed to go to Brazil, and for some reason that escaped us, he was the chip dropped him in Costa Rica. I don't know if he was misbehaving. I don't know if he got scammed. I don't know what was the deal. Long story short, he landed in Costa Rica, was trying to go to Brazil, fell in love, married, and that's the end of it. Then we're here. With my Italian descendants, they came as colonizers. You know, they came to buy land, and they had huge farms in Cartago, which at some point was the capital of Costa Rica. But yes, to address some of the comments, DC, Canada is, yeah, Canada is scary. I'm actually gonna show a video of Canada, something that happened back in January, and I saw recently, and I was shocked. Obviously, what Trudeau did to that country, it will take ages to repair. You guys have let tons of Indians and Pakistanis get into the country, Muslims, and it's started to be a problem. And I've heard that, for example, Vancouver is unrecognizable. But yeah, it wasn't boring, Adrian. It was just a bit lonely at night. You know, being away from the wife for a month and a half is something I don't want to repeat, unless it's something huge like I have to go to war or some shit. But I don't want to do that again. If it's for a vacation, if it's we either go together or we don't go, and I think that's the best choice. Like husband and wife shouldn't be separated because of mundane reasons. It has to be a good reason. Um, Norma, yes, we have tons of people moving in to Portugal, especially from England, the UK, and France, because your money lasts longer here. Um, and no, you cannot carry. That's what bothers me about Portugal. The gun laws are ridiculous. You cannot even have a mace or a taser. So that right there, it's you know, it's the laws are built to benefit the criminals, and that right there is terrible. We need a complete overhaul of the laws in Europe, especially gun laws. We need to recover our freedom and our ability to defend ourselves. There is no legislation in Portugal for you to use a gun for self defense. You can only use a gun for shooting practice and hunting. So, I'm not gonna say if I have a gun right now, it could land me in trouble because I don't even have my citizen card yet. All I can tell you guys is that I needed to go to Costa Rica for two main reasons. Three, actually. Uh, Three, like the Germans say, right? First one, obviously, to see my family, especially my grandma, who had suffered an accident last year, and I needed to. It's just too special for me. My grandparents, you know, they basically raised me, and the best memories of my childhood were with them, and they are irreplaceable. The second reason was to get my criminal record history, which I cannot order online. Now I can because I went to the intelligence agency and the archives, and I actually did the whole thing where they get your prints and they give you a password so you can, in the future, if you need it, request your criminal history with the password they gave you online. But I had to do that personally. I couldn't send a lawyer, I couldn't send nobody. So the only way for me to be able to be a citizen here in Portugal was with my criminal record. That was what I was lacking, the only document I was missing. So I had to go to Costa Rica, yes or yes. I am already in the process of being a national. I've been here for, I want to say, 2 years and a half, 2 years and 9 months, actually. And I've been married to my beautiful wife for 3 years and a half. Well, 3 years and 2 months, actually, to be exact. And after the third year, I can actually apply for my citizenship. So that's gonna help me in a lot of ways. Um, I don't know if I'm gonna have problems because yes, my wife pays taxes. I don't. I haven't paid taxes on my income because I don't have any benefits. I don't have any. As I told my wife, unless I'm a citizen, I'm not gonna pay taxes. It's just crazy. My business, anyways, is registered in Costa Rica, so you could say I'm not doing anything illegal, but still, you know, as soon as I'm a citizen, I'm gonna start paying the taxes. That's my duty as a citizen. Sadly, I don't believe in taxes, but you gotta pay. And the third reason was to visit my dad's grave, who obviously died while I was here, and I wasn't able to go to his um, burial ceremony. I wasn't able to say goodbye. I wasn't able to do anything. Actually, I was able to say goodbye. He wasn't able to say goodbye to me because he was already in a coma. He was basically waiting for me to talk to him over the phone because he died immediately after I told him what I needed to tell him. Um, my brother held the phone, and I, said the things I needed to say to him as much as I could because I was broken. Obviously, I couldn't talk well. He died, and I needed to do that for my own sanity and peace of mind. And now that's done, the trip is over with. Um, I had a regular experience flying with Air Europe. I'm gonna do a fast review of the air companies I used. Air Europe was regular. They almost kicked me out of the plane because there were a group of gay guys from Spain bullying this old lady that was like from Germany or something like that. I was sitting here on this side, and I was with a couple from Belgium, and they were really nice. I actually got along with them really well. And to my left, it was the German lady, and behind her, it was like these three gay guys from Madrid, obnoxious, loud. They were actually like kicking her chair, and she was already, you know, uh, bothered by it for probably an hour or two. When I noticed, because most of the trip I was sleeping, and then I woke up and I saw that the lady turned around and told the guy something, and the three of them were mocking her. I don't care if you're gay. I don't care if you're a lesbian. I don't care if you're brown, yellow, white, black. You're not gonna bully an old lady in front of me, no matter what. I'm gonna say something, and if you get cute with me, you might see that my face is kind, and I don't look like a tough guy, but you might be surprised. So I noticed that, and I immediately turned around and I told him, I confronted them. I told them, hey, you think this is right? What you guys are doing, bothering this old lady? Three of you, men, men, right? And the guy was like, well, she's complaining. She's the one being insufferable. I'm very tall. I cannot control. I don't fit here with the seat, so I'm pushing her. Whatever. I said, yeah. One thing is you being too tall and your legs not fitting in the seat, and another is you guys laughing like bitches, mocking the old lady in a group, like a group of hyenas. And that's not gonna fly. So you guys better shut the fuck up, mind your own business, leave the lady alone, or I'm gonna be educating you. And the guy wanted to be funny, and he said, "Oh well, are you a teacher? What are you trying to be cute?" And I told him, "Well, I'm not a teacher, but I can teach you some one thing or two about life." And I was already getting red and upset, right? So he naturally called the flight attendant, and it said, "Hey, this guy's threatening me, blah blah blah." And I explained to the lady, "Hey, I'm simply defending this old lady. This shouldn't be allowed. These guys are going too far with this behavior." And they told us right there and then, "Hey, if you guys keep it up, we're just gonna land the plane on an island, drop you guys, and continue our way to Panama, and you're out of the plane." And I said, "Fuck, man, I cannot risk it, right?" So I fall asleep again, and there's one thing that makes it hard for people to travel around me when I'm sleeping is that I snore too hard. I sound like a wildebeest, and Thank God my wife is used to it, but it was hard for her. So I'm sleeping, and I wake up with the flight attendant in front of me telling me, "I warned you not to talk with these guys again." And I'm like, "What? Like I didn't do anything. Like I've been sleeping. The person you've been hearing snoring like a wildebeest, it's me all the time. If you hear someone snoring, that's me." And I asked the Belgium couple that were next to me, "I was sleeping all this time, wasn't I? I didn't threat anybody again." And obviously, they were my friends, but my we got along well. So yeah, this guy has been sleeping for the last hour or so. So these guys were trying to get me kicked out of the plane by saying that I was threatening them in my sleep. So we got out of the plane, and I was waiting for the guy outside. Um, he actually told on me with one of the military guys in Panama, and I'll be honest, Panama doesn't do woke shit as much. And the guy complained about me with the military guy. This guy is threatening to hit me. No sé qué. I'm 6 foot 0 inches, right? 6'0". That's my height. This guy is like, I'm not even kidding. He's like 6'8", gay but tall. And the military guy is like, he just looks at him like, just keep walking. Like they don't do the woke shit over there. And so I stay outside the airport, and the guy comes, walking in front of me, and I tell him, "You're a coward. You're just a lousy coward. There you go, being a coward. Are you gonna do something now that we're out of the plane?" His ass did like this, and he just kept walking. I don't want to get arrested in Panama either, so I didn't do nothing. But in a situation like that, if I see that a man is bullying an old lady or a group of men, right? Because these skinny jean wearing muffos, acting tough like hyenas. "Oh, we're so cool. We're woke. We're this. We're that." You're not gonna flaunt that in front of me. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna say something, and if there are no cameras and there are no police, I would probably do more than talking. You know, as much as I can avoid it. I don't like violence. I'm a Christian. I believe in peace overall. But if you're gonna be a jerk and a coward, I'm gonna teach you how to be a man, just like my dad taught me. Okay, and perhaps that was the mistake. Your dad didn't teach you, but I'm here. So this is more or less what happens with Nick. It's a similar situation, but we'll go to that in a bit. So Air Europe was so. Then we flew from Panama to Costa Rica with Copa. Copa was nice. That flight from Panama to Costa Rica is like half an hour, and they gave us a breakfast out of nowhere. I was like, well, we weren't supposed to get this, some eggs, bread, sour cream, coffee, orange juice, nice. The service was nice. They had a very funny and well made commercial promoting their airline. I thought it was brilliant. My wife liked it a lot. Then I came back with Lufthansa, which is probably the oldest German airline out there. Uh, it's famous because it's named in that movie Goodfellas. There was a heist that these guys did against Lufthansa in New York. I guess it's portrayed in the movie. So I decided to rewatch the movie while I was flying at Lufthansa. Germans have a way of doing business that I really like. I can respect Germans and the way they are. Um, you know, they don't. They are not late. They're not lazy, and they are very polite and very pleasant. The food was, let's be honest. Food on planes always suck. It sucks. It's terrible. You should always try to buy something at the airport and put it somewhere and eat it there because you're never gonna get something quality in a plane. But I gotta say, I liked flying with Lufthansa. The thing that really pissed me off is that they charged me a CO2 tax. I had no choice. I had to pay 60 euros for it because of my carbon footprint. And, I actually wrote a complaint about that because, I told him, hey, guys, this is some political bullshit. You cannot force everyone to believe what you believe in. And this is what you're basically doing. Your clients come from the right wing, from the left wing, from the center, libertarians, whatever. A lot of people don't believe in this carbon tax bullshit, and for them to charge that, forget about it. So that's the only complaint I have. Um, Canary Islands are very nice. Now they have tons of problems with the migrants too, sadly, because I think that's like the point of entry for Spain, along with Ceuta, which is like a space that I don't know if, because I'm pretty sure Spain and Portugal are separated from Morocco by sea, right? But it's not that long of a trip in a boat. It's a narrow situation there. Canary Islands are scary. They're full of white sharks, so I'm gonna pass on that. It would be like one thing you'll never see me swimming in Malibu. I just don't do sharks. I'm sorry. I'm happy. I'd rather be, in the jungle fighting a snake or fighting a tiger with a machete. Don't put me in the water with a shark. I'm gonna pass. But yeah, those people were terrible, and fentanyl is destroying fentanyl. Fentanyl is destroying Canada, America, and now I hear that it's getting heavy here in Europe too. There's like a pandemic of fentanyl in Germany, and what was the other place that I saw? Even Argentina. Like this fentanyl, I just don't get it. I'm sorry. I've been an addict. I actually was a heroin addict when I was 15, and that was my way to cope with a lot of stuff. And I quit heroin when I was 22. So I was addicted to it for 7 years. Almost died a few times. It's a drug that you only use if you want to die. Obviously, it's super addictive, so some people don't want to die, but they cannot quit it, and most people end up dying. Sadly, it's a drug that is very hard to quit. So my choice is to raise my children as far away as I can from that. So to touch on something else, um, yes, they charge us a carbon tax, and they gave me a choice. Like the minimum I had to pay was $60, 60 euros. I'm sorry, and there was another option to pay 200, and another option to pay 600. I cannot imagine what kind of hamburger human would pay for a 600 carbon tax, which is the same price of the plane ticket. Basically, I paid 800 all in all euros for a one-way trip, which is insane. But I needed to come back. There was no other option. Now, as far as the Nick situation, uh, let me actually play you a couple videos to give me some time to go and refill my coffee because I already drank it all, and I'll be back in like 2 or 3 minutes, and then we'll discuss what's happening with the Nick situation and what happened with Telegram, which is a bummer. I'll explain to you guys how my week is going, which is a bit rocky, but all in all, I cannot complain. Um, so let me show you these videos. The first video is a bit shocking. It's a couple of usual suspects attacking a lady at a French church inside a church. So there's no safety from these animals anywhere. But just for you guys to see, for those of you who don't know how bad things are in Europe, especially in France, England, Germany, those are like the three worst places right now. But Belgium is also very bad. There's situations in Italy, Portugal, Netherlands, Spain. Um, no country is exempt. If you want to be safe from usual suspects and Muslims, all those people, your best bet is moving to Poland. But then again, Poland might go to war with Ukraine or Russia, so it's a dodgy situation wherever you go. I'll be right back, guys.
Stop! Don't touch me there. This is my no-no square. Stop! Don't touch me there. This is my no-no square.
Europe is the values of the Talmud, the Jewish sense of personal responsibility, of justice, and of solidarity.
Herman Rosenblatt does have a real story of survival in the Nazi concentration camps, a story that is genuinely extraordinary. But as he explained to us in this exclusive interview, he felt he needed to make things up to get people to pay attention.
It's the greatest love story we've ever told on this show.
Herman Rosenblatt received international attention for his story about being a hungry little boy in a Nazi concentration camp who was thrown apples every day by a little girl on the other side of the fence. Years later, according to the story, Rosenblatt met that same girl on a blind date in New York City, and he proposed on the spot.
I used to come by every day, bring the apple, have in my jacket and a piece of bread, and he used to say, I'll see you tomorrow.
The story landed Herman and Roma Rosenblatt on Oprah twice and in newspapers all over the world. They also got a book and movie deal. But the story wasn't true. Why did you do it? Why did you tell such a big lie to so many people for so long?
It wasn't a lie. It was my imagination. And in my imagination, in my mind, I believed it. Even now I believe it, that she was there and she threw the apple to me.
How can you say it wasn't a lie? It wasn't true, and you know it's not true.
Yes, it's not true. But in my imagination, it was true.
Rosenblatt says he made the story up to give people hope and to promote understanding about the Holocaust. But members of his own family say his real motivation was money. So you were not motivated in any way by money?
No.
This is from your son. He said that he knew you were lying for years and he couldn't get you to stop. And here's his quote. It was always hurtful. My father is a man who I don't know. How do you respond to that?
I don't know. I can't respond to it. I don't know why he said it. I don't know, maybe I'll ask him.
Herman and Roma Rosenblatt told their false story publicly for more than a decade, but it all fell apart about 6 weeks ago after Holocaust scholars proved that it was physically impossible for prisoners to approach the fence at the concentration camp where Herman was kept, and that Roma's family was actually more than 200 miles away at the time.
Why did your wife agree to go along with this? Did she ever express any
Because
reservations?
she loves me.
Why is she not here today?
Because I don't want her to be here today. It's too much going on.
Was it difficult for your wife to have to go out very publicly and tell a story that she knew wasn't true?
It was. But she loves me so much that if she thinks that's good for me, she'll go along with it.
Rosenblatt is remarkably unrepentant about his years of lying.
I pronounce my love for you forever.
When you look at that, does it make you uncomfortable at all?
No.
You think that was the right thing to do?
Yeah.
And while you were up on the stage there in front of all those people, in the back of your mind, were you not thinking,
no,
I'm not telling the truth here?
No.
Let me ask you just quickly about
I didn't hear you say you agreed to this. Do we agree to that?
Our interview was frequently interrupted by this man, Harris Solomon, who says he is planning to produce a fictionalized movie account of Rosenblatt's story, despite complaints from critics.
If you look on Holocaust Denier websites right now, they're using it as we speak as an example of why you shouldn't believe Holocaust survivors.
Right. And those Holocaust denier websites would perpetuate some other story if it wasn't Herman Rosenblatt.
Rosenblatt says he wants people to know that he did what he did with good intentions.
So if you had to do it over again, would you tell the same story?
Yeah.
You would?
Yes.
Rosenblatt does say that he's sorry, but he's only sorry, he says, that people took the story, quote, the wrong way. His book deal for a nonfiction memoir fell through a couple of weeks ago because of this controversy, but a fictionalized book may come out this summer, and the movie version is supposed to start shooting this summer as well in Eastern Europe, Diane. And they say they're going to carry on despite the criticism.
I simply don't know what to say. I mean, it's his imagination, but he knows it's not true.
He says he made up a fantasy world, and he was living in that fantasy world.
And his son says, tried to stop him.
Yes.
Good heavens. Okay, thank you, Dan.
Pleasure.
Okay, let's pause it there. Let's leave Pam Bundy for later. I was referring. I wrote "liar, liar" on the chat. I was referring to this guy, not to Norma. Norma is on point. Just in case there was any doubt, a lot of people with addictions, yes, it's a way of coping. In my case, I have explained how I was put. After what happened, I was sent to another school, which was a Zionist Catholic school called Zion, funded by Israelis and Catholic nuns. You know, I guess bad place too. A lot of things happened there, but it wasn't SRA. It was just out of the mill sexual abuse by female teachers. And yes, addiction is a way of coping. In my case, I was medicated with lithium. Soon after, I did my IQ test as a suggestion from the school because they wanted to promote me to the second grade, elementary school. We're talking. I was 7 years old, 6 perhaps, 6, I think. They wanted to move me. I was already the younger in class. I didn't want. They says this kid is brilliant. This kid learned how to read and write. He speaks English. He speaks 2 languages already, and this kid learned how to do everything while he was on vacations. He knows how to read, how to write. He gets bored at class. He has straight A's. Let's do an IQ test. Maybe we're dealing with something special here. So they sent me to the shrink that was associated with the school, and I scored 145 in the test. And they immediately started getting the gears going to pass me to the second grade. I sabotaged that by I became aggressive, started doing bad stuff in school on purpose, just for them as a deterrent, like saying if you pass me to second, my father and my father wanted it. My mother was a bit in the middle, but I basically sabotaged that by letting them know if you pass me to second grade, it's just gonna get worse. So I avoided that, but they misdiagnosed me with bipolar disorder. It was actually the correct diagnosis would have been, or at least that's what became later. Borderline personality disorder is what I was diagnosed with. But of course, if you are a Christian like me, a lot of these mental illnesses are demonic in nature, and it's linked to oppression, obsession, and ultimately possession. There's four stages of possession before you. There's three stages before possession. The fourth one is possession, and there's a thing called perfect possession, which is when you made a deal with Satan himself or one of these demons to be possessed and gain certain benefits in this life. Um, if you are, my wife and I are very interested in these things about spirituality, Christianity, demonology, exorcisms. It's something that it's interesting to us, and so we are a bit knowledgeable in the subject. And me especially, I had my own experiences with Faustian bargains, secret societies while I was in the music industry. I used to DJ at a British pub in Costa Rica where I was the DJ for Mondays, Tuesdays, and Fridays. So, on Mondays, the Freemasons, the Masonic Lodge used to meet upstairs while I was DJing downstairs. And I know for a fact, well, I don't know for a fact, but I suspect that my best friend at the time joined them. I was offered to join to start going to the meetings. Like it was a networking thing. I said, "You guys, no, this is ridiculous for me. First of all, I would never dress like you guys dress." That was like at the time I wasn't really into. I already knew some of these things, but I didn't know how bad Freemasonry really was. Um, so I just didn't accept based on my own personal taste and what I thought was cool or not. And me being a rock singer and a DJ, I just didn't jive with the whole idea of wearing a fucking envelope on your as pants and just dressing like weirdo, semi-religious, cultic kind of people. It didn't appeal to me. Um, my friend, I think he joined. I don't know if the owners were part of it. What I can tell you is that my role, besides being a DJ, was to be a host. I produced certain events, concerts and stuff, but I was a host when all the stars came to the club to play or to DJ or to just make an appearance. I was the one in charge of being with them, getting them everything they wanted, drugs included. Not people to abuse though. That's something I never partook in. I did gave them all the drugs they needed. So, in all honesty, that's what I did. Mostly moved cocaine and MDMA and LSD for them. They almost never asked for weed. It was always party drugs like that. Um, but yeah, that's the story of the Hoxton. You can read more about it on my bio on the website, on the About Us section. I also have my SRA testimony there. For more details, there's a video on the channel about the testimony as well. If you want to revisit, if you have never seen it, it has more details. I don't really talk about it often, or well, I never talked about it before. Perhaps 2 years ago, I started mentioning it, but very, casually. because I always wanted my work as a researcher, as a investigator, to be what made me who I am and what made total disclosure what it is. I could have used the SRA thing as a jump start, and that's something I always, saw as not really, not something a person with integrity would do. But yeah, the addictions, it comes from those demons. In my case, they tried to give me lithium, and it was a crazy dose that I used to that they sent me to consume. I took it for probably 4 or 5 years, and it almost killed me. It was aimed to kill me, according to the specialists I've spoken with. People that have dealt with SRA survivors and shrinks that are involved in mind programming and drugging survivors and victims of abuse. The dose that was given to me was basically one or the two, to drive me crazy and completely erase my memory of such things happening, or killing me. So that's also part of it. Like, they want you hooked on drugs as a survivor, so you kill yourself, so you have more chances to just fade away. Cheers. I got myself a beer, actually. I didn't get myself a coffee. Um, I've come to that point where I can drink 1 or 2 beers before going to bed, and it's all good. Some people cannot do it. It's just very European. Like, for example, here I always get a beer for lunch. I usually get a beer and then a Coca Cola. Even though I shouldn't drink Coca Cola, beer is even healthier. And at night, I do the wine thing. I try not to, because I have a sensitive stomach, so I get a bit of reflux with wine. But Portuguese wine is the best wine there is, so it's almost a sin to live here and not have some wine. But yes, Norma, you're right, and I'm sorry that you had to see so many people suffering, because that's the truth of it. A lot of addicts are great people. People think that there is this notion from those that don't understand these situations, in which they think that addicts are just trash and they're just people to be thrown to the side and completely neglected and abandoned. And if that was the case, I wouldn't be here. If that was the case, a lot of people that have done tremendous good in this world wouldn't have done it. Even some of the apostles that Jesus selected had addictions. Mostly, well, in that time, it was drinking. Um, but it is what it is. As per the videos that I showed you before, I think it's pretty obvious where we're going. The At first, I thought they had banned me from Telegram because I posted something exposing Zionism or the Jews, right? Because even though it has become more lenient, social media has become way more lenient as far as criticizing the Jays goes. And that's part of the agenda. That has a reason to be. They're trying to, you see, the guys at the top of Judaism know that they have to fulfill certain prophecies. So their Messiah comes. Their Messiah is not our Messiah. Their Messiah is the Antichrist. There is only one Messiah, and he died for our sins 2,000 years ago. Um, at least I believe that. If you don't believe, if you're not a Christian, that's fine. I don't judge. I'm not a I'm not a missionary. I'm a crusader. When there's a war, if there's a time where one has to get on a horse and fight back for this land, then I will be there. You won't see me hitting you with the head with a Bible. I do believe in what I believe, and I love God and I love Jesus, and they have done wonders for my salvation and my recovery. But hey, you do you, and when the time is right, if it's meant for you, you'll come to this place where I am, or even better. And if it's not for you, it's not for you. That's not for me to decide. That's called free will, and it's a God-given right. Um, Actually, Norma, my favorite drink and what I usually drink during the day to stay fresh, especially now in summer. Well, it's spring right now, but for example, it's 1 a.m. and the temperature here is right now. I have some article here about Taylor Swift and the leg they found near her house. It's funny. 23 degrees Celsius, right? But at 2 p.m., 1 p.m., it was 35, 36. And by summer, it will be going up to 45. We live in the southern region of Portugal, a region called Alentejo, this district of Beja. Beautiful place. Norma, if you're thinking to move in to Portugal, come on over. Don't go to Lisbon. It's too expensive. It's too ugly. It's full of undesirable people too. I rarely go to Lisbon and don't have an incident in which I have to, tell somebody to fuck off or else. People are just, people in the streets, the homeless, the drug addicts, the crazies. They're getting bolder and bolder everywhere. And sadly, I understand when a person has an addiction, but you can be an addict but still have manners, right? The moment you start harassing people for money or harassing women for other reasons, is the minute I'm gonna, you know, intervene. Well, Adrian, the thing about drinking is that we can drink, but with moderation. You can get a couple drinks, three at the most, and chill. Um, my wife and I, we rarely get drunk anymore. We used to. When we first came, I was drinking lots of wine, but now I have two drinks per day, and I'm good like that. I think it helps me to wind down, especially at night. I've been learning how to make caipirinhas, which is a Brazilian drink with sugarcane liquor, limes, brown sugar, and peppermint. It's really good. I also like mojitos, which is basically almost the same thing, but with basil and rum. And of course, when we have guests over, I like to prepare drinks for everyone. Margaritas, have wine, have beer, have snacks. I bought a barbecue smoker last week because I love steaks. And the day it arrived, the day after I was already using it, I showed Adrian some pictures. I think, yes, I did, of picanha, which is an amazing beef cut with tons of fat, just delicious. Um, but I got carried away. Oh, usually during the day I drink. I boil some ginger with peppermint, and once it's cold, because I like it cold. I know one should drink hot tea is very healthy, but I like it cold. I wait until it's colder, and then I pour some raw honey on it, and that's what I drink during the day. I also try to eat a lot of fruits, mostly because of um, my health as far as my teeth goes. I recently had a problem with a tooth. I still have a bit of pain, but it has really decreased. Thank God. I still think I'm gonna probably have to take it out. It's this one and put a fake one. I'll let you know. Don't worry. I'll let you know if I have to do that. I'm trying to avoid it though. But yeah, during the day, usually I drink tea. It helps a lot with the metabolism, with stomach. The peppermint works wonders for the stomach freshness. Ginger is an immune booster. It helps with the respiratory system. Raw honey is a superfood. Obviously, also helps with bacteria, microbes, and it's great. It tastes great. That's what I usually drink. It's just that having tried, and I'm sorry, guys, because we are really lacking in America with the beer. Like in the states, the most recognizable brand of beer that I would drink it's Sam Adams. I like Sam Adams. That's it. I hate Budweiser. I hate Coors. Uh, you know, I'm sorry, but I do. Costa Rican beer is terrible. It's like water with piss. So I actually came back from Costa Rica after drinking the beer there. I'm very grateful about European beer because it really has body, has taste, it's just next level. Especially German and Belgium. My favorite beer here in Europe is Stella Artois, and my favorite beer in America it's Sam Adams, and in Mexico the Modelo is the one I like. Um, but yeah, okay. But Adrian, well, you can. How about you can do a beer with a steak, and then when you're already in your bed getting tired to go to sleep, you drink the tea, and you didn't get drunk, and you didn't, do nothing that will make you feel hungover tomorrow. That's the only. I mean, I guess the main reason why I don't drink nowadays is that the hangover lasts for 2 or 3 days, whereas when I was young, I could do it every day, drink out, go out at night with friends, and But even now, like even if I still had that capacity, um, I just don't see myself living that life. It seems boring to me. What my perfect night is getting some steaks with my wife, sushi, and then just chilling in bed, watching a movie or a series, and that's it. Sometimes we mix it up and play some board games, have some family over for drinks and stuff, friends. We go out to take a walk at midnight. But yeah, whenever you are, like Norma, you're in the UK, Adrian is in the States. If it gets too nasty over there, ask me. Ask me about Portugal. Ask me about. There's places in Italy that are beautiful, especially in the villages, in the countryside. I've seen properties for 30,000 euros in Italy, actually. They are great. I mean, we can always try to live better and try to get away from these bad situations, this all this turmoil created by social engineering and the conspiracies in the case of America and Canada and Europe being flooded by migrants. Well, it's the Calergy plan and something that usually gets me banned from social media and Rumble. Creamy dessert with alcohol is good. Ninja slushy machine. Okay, I'll look into that, Norma. That actually sounds lots of fun. Okay, so to not take too long, we have been live for an hour and a half, and I haven't even touched on the two main subjects. Total disclosure. For example, yesterday, let me show you. Let me show you because it's best to show than to talk about it. Why tell you when I can show you, right? So let me look for the right. I have two monitors here. So these are the comments that people leave on my website. I'm gonna share my screen and I'm gonna keep talking over what I show you. Okay. So this is the comments that people leave on my website. Usually they're very nice. People are awesome. There's 1,038 comments approved, 33 spam, one pending. I'm gonna show you which one is pending. So I got this stupid comment by Nick Albier, right? The Good Lion guy, the crisis actor, closeted weirdo, fake everything. And I'm trying to be nice because, to be honest, like just to be insulting people online is just not my. Okay, let's see. Now I just refreshed the whole thing, and the microphone it's working supposedly. Sorry about that. Nothing yet, it seems. It's good. Yes. Okay. It's something that has to do with Rumble. It's not my microphone. Then you can see my microphone is working, and I have to refresh Rumble Studio. I don't know if they're trying to mute me. Whatever. What I was saying is that you know I don't believe boys. They have been trying to screw with me for decades now. But what I was saying is that yes, the thing with Nick Albier is that I don't hate him. I already had enough of him for a lifetime. When I worked with him for what was it, 3 years, perhaps a bit more. No, it wasn't that much. It was 2 years at the most. And working for him full time was well, it was way shorter than well, it was 2 years, 3 years, yeah. Anyway, I don't want to deal with him anymore. It's not like him. Like he makes an effort to write to me or to comment on my stuff. He's always monitoring what I do. It's like an obsession. I don't know if it's a sexual obsession or just like a pride thing where he's too butthurt and he just wants to. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he is addicted to sadism or something. Anyway, it goes along the lines two things. As a Christian, I need to let things go, and I have too many problems and too many real things to worry about. People that I love, things that are good, to worry in my mind, to be thinking about some guy who already occupied tons of time in my life before when I used to work with him. I am over it. That's reason number one. Reason number two is mainly that I don't believe in online bullshit. I don't believe in being a tough guy with a keyboard. I think it's not good at all to go around picking fights online. And yes, I've done my fair share of exposés on frauds and control opposition people. That doesn't mean it's because I like drama or I like fighting with a keyboard. I don't. I think it's a waste of time. I think it's unbecoming for men. I think men should settle in a perfect world, in my opinion. Two guys that have a problem of similar ages, similar conditions. Hey, let's meet up here. No police, not nobody to meddle, no knives, no guns. Let's go at each other. And whoever wins this, and it's over. We don't need to meet each other again. We don't need to talk ever again. No drama, no bullshit. Se acabó. In Spanish, right? It's over. In a perfect world. We don't live in a perfect world. We live in a world ruled by Satan, which is the king of this fallen earth, along with the fallen angels. And we live, sadly, in a world where men are no longer men. We live in a world full of cowards. And I want to try to not insult Nick as much as I can because, listen, by me going after him in a petty way and insulting him, I'm not doing anything to him. I don't think that's gonna affect him a big deal. It's not gonna make him a better person. It's not gonna make him pay his debts. It's not gonna make him stop being a woman beater, etc., etc. It's only gonna affect me in a negative way. Why? Because I'm consuming that poison, that hatred. I don't want that. I have too much of a good life, to be honest. I'm not rich. I have sometimes we do struggle, but my life is pretty good, all things considered, especially when I compare it to what it used to be. And as I had told Nick when I quit working with him, I'd rather be broke and not have to deal with you than to deal with you and have a 10% or 15% or 20% of your company, which was what he was going to offer me allegedly before I quit. He already had prepared the contract and everything. He was going to offer 10% of the monthly profits, which looking back, it was more decent than what I was getting, but still was not the greatest deal. Uh, the way the company grew, it was evident it was both my material and his networking. So more like 25-30% would have been a bit more fair, even 20% maybe. But letting numbers behind is not, it's not the real point of the conversation. I received this comment on my website yesterday, and this is funny because minutes before receiving it, I was thinking about talking to this idiot. I was thinking of sending him a nice email, actually, like saying, "You know what, man? I don't care what happened in the past. I forgive you. I wish you the best. I hope that your born again Christian thing is true, and that's it. Just move on with your life, and I wish you the best." Just like being a grown up, I guess. I don't have time for bullshit. And he comes to the website and leaves this Nick goodlion.tv, Nick at goodlion.tv. And just like that, I'm the last man standing. That's what happens when you fuck around and find out. So according to Nick, uh, this comment is gonna hurt me and devastate me. Good try. I think that if I was so weak as for this to insult me or make me sad or angry, I have way bigger problems than you, Nick. problems around all over my life, but I don't. Actually, I'm very happy with my life, and especially I'm very pleased with how God has worked on me. Because without Him, a lot of the positive changes that I've experienced in the last 2 or 3 months wouldn't have happened. So, okay. He thinks total disclosure is finished. That's sweet. God be with his soul. Now, I obviously posted this and replied to his comment in public because, as I had told him, I'm not gonna do this keyboard shit in private. Whatever you send me to troll, to stalk, to whatever, I'm gonna put in public. So that's what I did. Surprise, surprise. Couple of 30 minutes, 1 hour later, this girl writes to me from a group that is actually exposing Phil Godlewski, and they tell me, "Hey, one of your posts was removed by Telegram. They say it violated the TOS, and that's it. We cannot even see the post anymore. It's gone." And I went to see the post, and the only one that was missing was my post replying to Nick. So obviously, it was him. Bear in mind, this is a person that has told me, "Hey, whenever you reach a certain this amount of followers on Instagram, I'm gonna have your account removed." I don't know if he has an army of bots. That could be it to report you, massively report you, but I don't think that's it. I think that what Nick is doing, and this is something that you can actually get on Telegram. I actually met a guy that does this service. It's just that I don't waste money on that. I could pay, I guess, like $1,000 to get my account back, or even 2,000. I don't know for what. So this asshole can pay $10,000 tomorrow to get it removed again, because that's what he's doing. He's paying like $5,000 to get my accounts removed. He already got 2 accounts from mine banned from Instagram, and 2 accounts of mine banned from Telegram from posting in public groups. One yesterday, one today. So this is the current situation with Nick. I had not spoken a word to him like in a year or more. He tried to bait me into some online argument on Instagram like 2 or 3 months ago. I just blocked him, and I couldn't care less. It's just, guys, it's just that why would I want to lose time with this idiot? He's as worthless as it can get. He lives a lie. Everything that he portrays himself to be, it's a lie. He hits women. He's more likely than not a closeted homosexual. There's a lot of things out there that seem to point to that, and things that people have told me. Um, he's miserable, and he might have all the money in the world. He might be popular on Rumble and have, I don't know, 50,000 subscribers, whatever the number is. He might be a millionaire, as he declares himself. I don't care. There's many millionaires I don't like. Nick being one of them doesn't really change my life, does it? It is what it is. I do believe that if I keep working hard and I keep following the righteous path, or trying to, God will give me a good life, and He has so far. Even if we struggle here and there, our life is good. We're not hungry. We can buy things here and there. We can go and visit our family once every 2 years, once every 3 years, whatever it is. If I wanted to take my wife to Italy to spend a week there, I could do it I could save for 4 months, 5 months, and do it. It's not a bad life. It's certainly better than many out there who are suffering. So I don't have any jealousy, any situation in which this guy pisses me off because he has more money, or is more famous, or is more popular, whatever it may be. It is frustrating, however, to see that us real truthers are just getting more scarce and scarce. And we have all these frauds leading, uh, leading social media, leading, taking, absorbing all the space with their lies, with their psychological operations, with their scams. And I'm sorry, Nick might say he's a born again Christian, clearly because by the looks of it, he's not. I'm not anyone to judge, but this is the current situation. As some of you know, and as I have posted on social media, I have emails of him saying that he doesn't own any of my videos, yet he's charging for them on his website. He has been charging for them since 2 years ago, since I quit. So you could argue that there is a legal case there for him. If there's not a legal case for me to be paid an amount that it corresponds to helping that business grow, you could argue there's a possibility or a case for me to get paid for those months, 2 years to be exact, in which my content has been sold there without my authorization as a copyright infringement on his part. Clearly, because we don't like each other. Uh, you would think, and because he says I'm a terrible filmmaker or editor or whatever, logic would tell you he wouldn't have my content in there if it's so bad. But as it turns out, I have received many people on Total Disclosure that tell me, hey, I'm coming here to subscribe because I know what the other guy did to you, and I only subscribe to Good Lion to see your stuff. Might not be everybody, but there's a important number of people that have told me that. Even though Nick says nobody watched my videos. Now, he has too much pride for certain things, but to use my content and profit from it, no pride. He puts it there, exploits it, even though he calls me a terrible whatever. If I was as petty as he is, I would have the Good Lion films that I wrote and he edited on my website, but I don't. Why? Because I don't want anything from him, anything content wise. The only thing that I would accept from Nick, besides an apology, is the money owed for services provided which wasn't properly paid, and more than that, copyright infringement. Why? Because that's just justice. Other than that, I don't want his friendship. I forgive him if he comes to apologize one day as a true Christian. I would talk to him with love, with comprehension, with empathy. But I wouldn't want to be his friend. I don't trust him. I cannot trust him ever again. I already went down that road, and it wasn't good for me. It backfired. So I'm not that kind of person to hate you for eternity. But I'm not gonna be your friend again. We already went through that. Didn't work. I wish you the best. That's it. Fragile ego, yes, 100%. Homosexual desires, I don't know. I mean, it's a bit weird. Even my wife has questioned that. It's like, what's wrong with this guy and his obsession with you? It's like he wanted to date you. What was the deal? With Nick, you never know. That's the thing. He's predictable in some things, in others, he's unpredictable. So it happens that I rekindled with my family from my father's side in Costa Rica, and my cousin, the daughter of my father's sister, is a judge, a very prominent judge in the country, and a lawyer. So obviously, she cannot um, execute as a lawyer in the States, but she has contacts there. She has a prominent position in Costa Rica. So I spoke with her yesterday, and we are working on something to try to hold Nick accountable. Will it work? I don't know. I will only decide to move forward with the payment to the American lawyer and else if I know that our chances are above 75%. Lol. No, but speaking of my hat, it's a bit dusty from all my time away, but it still fits. And yeah, there's a new sheriff in town. Um, what I was saying. Uh, so yeah, I will only follow suit with a lawsuit in America if my chances are good. I'm just not gonna throw $10,000, $15,000, which for me are tons of money, in something that is not gonna win. So yeah, he owes me royalties. That's correct, and I guess that a judge that is not bought and paid for, and that is not I don't know, part of the psyop, because Nick has these connections with intelligence agencies, right? He's just a gesture for them. He's just a tool. He's not big in the. He's not relevant in the whole big picture. He's just one of the outside layers, but nevertheless, he's part of it. I would only do it if it's like that. With Telegram, it's a bit different because here in Europe, it's easier to make a case for that, for at least for what Telegram has been doing to me. Because in the last year, they have banned. I would like to say they banned my wife, and they banned 5 of my accounts. So I'm on my 5th or 6th Telegram account right now. And one of them accounts they banned. 2 of them actually they banned after I had paid the whole membership, the Telegram premium thing, for the whole year. So they pocketed those 30 euros, 60 for the 2 years, I guess. No reimbursement. I should have made a chargeback, but sometimes I'm just stupid like that. Should have done it. Now it's too late, I guess. And also they stole my wallet because on Telegram, if you have a big channel like I have right now, it's like 15,000 people. It used to be 20,000. It used to accrue a certain amount of cryptocurrency, Tron to be exact, per month, which I could cash out for advertisement and certain things, engagement, blah blah blah. They stole that also when they banned the first account. It was like 100 euros probably that I had there on my wallet. So that's what we are also fighting for, like this notion of these people that they can charge you for a premium service and out of nowhere, without any warnings, ban your account, delete it, and that's it. You have no recourse. We're not going to even offer you a refund. Me, if for example, if I have a, a yearly, and yes, attorneys are sharks, but it's family, so let's see how it goes. She's my cousin. I kind of know her, but let's see how it goes. Um, at the very least, if you're on Total Disclosure and you're a yearly subscriber and I don't like you, or you send me an email bitching and telling me I'm this and that and I don't like you and I'm gonna ban you, I'm gonna tell you, hey, uh, either one of the two, you're gonna keep your access to watch the videos, but you're gonna be muted and blocked from social media, which is not ideal, or I'm gonna refund you and I'm gonna ban you right away. I don't need your money. Get out of my back. I don't need the I don't need the aggravation. That's the way to do it. These guys, most social media people, ex Twitter does it too. They ban people one day, uh, a week after they paid $1,000 for a premium service. They don't even offer a refund. And if you have tried to reach Twitter via customer service, you'll realize it's almost impossible. So, anyways, that's part of the lawsuit. the cease and desist letter that my cousin sent to Telegram, they have decided to not really even address it. So they want us to put to move forward with the case. We have. Let me read this to you, uh, so you have an idea what the case would be. With Nick is only copyright, and obviously like cyber stalking and all that. If he keeps going, there's a death threat that he also made against me, but it was mostly Sasha Stone who did it. He was just there laughing like a clown. So I don't know if I can hold him accountable for that. He was an accessory for that, but he didn't threaten me directly. It was the other clown. So let me see if I can find this PDF file. Okay. Says Sofia Sancho Ballerin, that's the lawyer, Squire, San Jose, Costa Rica, email address, phone number, May 28, 2025, to Telegram Messenger Incorporated, Telegram FC LLC in Dubai, United Arab Emirates, and CC to European Digital Services Representative, EDSR, in Brussels, Belgium, regarding immediate cease and desist, unlawful account restriction, contractual violation, and impending legal action. So this is the body. To whom it may concern, I am Sofia Sancho Ballerin, legal counsel to Mr. Alessandro Ballerin Castellon. That's my real full name. Du Châtel is the French version of my second last name, so it's also my family name. I just changed the language of it because when my family went out of France, they went to England and they went to Spain and they changed it. That's the whole story. It's not because I'm trying to hide some shit. This letter serves as a format and final notice concerning the unlawful, retaliatory, and baseless restriction placed on my client's Telegram account. We hereby demand the immediate reinstatement of said account, a full and transparent explanation of the restriction, and the return of all funds and services wrongfully withheld. Let this letter serve as a final warning before legal action is undertaken in multiple jurisdictions. Number one, no violation of terms of service. At no point has Mr. Ballerin violated Telegram's terms of service. His activities on the platform have been lawful, ethical, and consistent with principles of public interest and free expression. His only offense, it seems, was the exposure of Mr. Nick Albier, a public figure with admitted connections to U.S. intelligence services and even General Michael Flynn, and a suspected participant in the January 6 psychological operation. In private messages, Mr. Albier explicitly claimed affiliation with the FBI and issued direct threats to Mr. Ballerin, colluding with Simon Adams, as known as Sasha Stone, a British national residing between Mexico and the United States. These actions are criminal in nature and prosecutable in all relevant jurisdictions. Item number 2, no privacy violation, public content only. All information posted by Mr. Ballerin about Mr. Albier was sourced exclusively from Mr. Albier's own public social media channels. That's entirely true. What I haven't outsourced from there or sourced from there, I sourced from his private communications with me. Messages, voicemails. I have them. I have the goods. I have the screenshots. The reporting was grounded in documented threats and patterns of harassment that began after Mr. Ballerin's departure from Good Lion TV in July 2023. So it's been 2 years of this BS. Item number 3, intellectual property theft. Mr. Ballerin's creative works are currently being sold without his authorization throughout sites linked to Mr. Albier. This constitutes copyright infringement and is subject to imminent legal action in the United States. Notably, Mr. Albier has admitted via email that he holds no legal rights to the content in question. Final item number 4. Telegram's complicity and misconduct. The decision to restrict Mr. Ballerine appears arbitrary, discriminatory, and politically motivated. I would say financially motivated, but we'll go about that in a bit. Whether this action originated with Telegram or was influenced by external actors financially tied to Mr. Albier, your company now bears liability. Moreover, Telegram has withheld cryptocurrency funds belonging to Mr. Ballerine, failed to refund services paid for by him in good faith. This constitutes breach of contract, unjust enrichment, and may amount to digital fraud under applicable international law. Notice of legal action. If the following are not resolved by Friday, June 6, 2025, we will proceed with formal civil and criminal proceedings on Wednesday, June 11th, 2025 in the following jurisdictions. Tortola in the British Virgin Islands against Telegram's legal entity. Brussels, Belgium against Telegram's European Digital Services representative under the Digital Services Act, or DSA. In parallel, we reserve the right to pursue individual civil claims against Telegram employees or contractors responsible for this enforcement. Mr. Albier has publicly admitted to paying social media staff, specifically on platforms like Instagram, which is owned by Meta, to target and suppress his critics, most notably Mr. Ballerine. We're entitled to and will seek full discovery to determine whether these takedowns was the result of Telegram internal bias or external corruption. Demands 1. Immediate reinstatement of Mr. Ballerine's Telegram account with all prior functionality. 2. Full return of withheld cryptocurrency and reimbursed services. 3. A written explanation identifying the enforcement rationale and responsible parties. 4. A formal guarantee of no retaliation going forward. Failure to comply will result in aggressive legal escalation. We are prepared to expose the underlying misconduct, selective enforcement, and financial harassment and harm caused to our client. This case has been under documentation and legal review for over 3 years, and the time has come for judicial resolution. This letter does not constitute a complete statement of our client's legal rights, and nothing herein shall be construed as a waiver thereof. So that's it. That said, filing a lawsuit here is way easier for me. I can do it in Belgium, and I can do it in the British Virgin Islands. If we would be able to prove that a Telegram employee on the take is doing this because he's being paid by Nick Albier, I would follow with a civil suit against this person as well. So we're gonna start with Telegram right away next week. Actually, yeah, next week. Next week is the final day they have to respond, and then we'll file the lawsuit a few days later. Depending on how that goes, I will decide whether to go after Nick also. Um, in a perfect world, and since this douchebag claims to be a millionaire and a born again Christian, in a perfect world, one would think that this guy would just pay me off and apologize and accept whatever apologies I have for him, which I don't think I have any. I'm sorry, but I was legit with the guy. I was a legit friend. I actually did way more than I should have to protect the brick. And I have been repaid with all this nonsense. What is this? Oh, okay. I saw like something weird. He would just pay me off, take my content out of his website, and move along with his life. Now, because his pride is hurt, because he has a fragile ego, because he knows he will never be the man, no matter how much money he has, he will never be the man I am. Because why? Because I actually protect my family. I don't make my mother cry for years now. I have a relationship with my father. When he died, he was very proud of me. He let me know so in voicemails, and my aunt and my family's from the side of my father has let me know he was very proud. In opposition with what happens with Nick's life, I'm not gonna be more. I'm not gonna say or talk more than I should because it's not even my place to talk about these things. I've spoken about it in the past when I was real angry, and I don't have that in me now. Okay, it's not that I'm softer. Don't get confused, Nick. I'm actually tougher. And because I'm tougher, I don't need to go after you. I don't need to talk badly about you for hours or do like 3 podcasts about you. This is unless someone asks me directly, and of course, in the business of telling the truth and being open, I would answer whatever people ask me about you. I have already published all the evidence I have against you. Well, almost all of it. I have some hidden aces under my sleeve, if you know what I mean. You know, I always have. Let's see if you see it. I always have an ace. Jesus Christ! Hey, let's see if I can turn my arm around. I recently broke my elbow, so maybe that's why I cannot turn it. I actually broke both of my elbows, but they have recovered quite nicely. I chipped them. This one especially. This one I had already broken. This one was the first time. Very painful. You could actually move the bone by touching it, but it's way better. There's another thing that Nick doesn't have that I have. I have a lovely wife that loves me. I have a meaningful relationship. I've been married for 3 years, way longer than he was married. And I expect to die married to this woman because that's what I believe. I believe that men should be loyal and protect their own and the people they love. And if I can live like that, I'm happy. I'm proud of myself. I can look at myself at the mirror every day. Another thing I will never do is abandon my children. Something that sadly Nick cannot say, right? That said, Nick, I'm sure you're watching this because you watch everything I do and you're always paranoid that I'm going to, I don't know, publish something that is going to make you look even worse. Not interested in that, actually. As I said, I was almost about to send you a kind message 2 days ago. Why? Not because of you, but because of me. And but because that's probably but what God would want from me to just move on and not have resentment, hate, ego, pride in my heart. And that's all I gotta say to you. I was gonna wish you the best. I was gonna tell you water under the bridge, and then you came after me, and now escalation with Telegram and all that. Well, I'm tired of taking it, and I have to fight back at some point. And you have sadly pushed me to the not the abyss, but the corner. And I like being cornered. Why? Because I don't have to worry about who's behind my back. I can fight freely with my back at the corner. So let's see how it goes. Let's see if it's viable. I'm not gonna go after you to lose money. Know that. I'm only gonna go after you if I can make some money and justly collect the money you owe me for being a thief, for being a liar, and for being a manipulator. Hopefully, you are not like that anymore. Hopefully, Christ really entered into you and you have changed your ways. I doubt it, but none of my business. That's it. That's what I needed to tell you guys about the Nick situation. And well, Norma, I wasn't having a good time before I left to Costa Rica. I was letting rage consume me, frustration, and I just hit the wall, literally and metaphorically, I guess. I hit the wall in my office with so much strength, and it was because I'm stupid like that. That's something really stupid to do. I thought it was the soft wall because I have a soft wall here that I actually punched, and as you can see, it's a bit broken. I need to fix it. Like an idiot, I break things, I fix them, and that's something that I actually am very happy that in the last 3 months I have changed. Obviously, 3 months is a little short time to be a real sample, but rage is a very ugly thing, and I hit the hard wall that is over there. That wall doesn't really budge, you know, and I hit it with so much strength with my elbows because I'm trained in martial arts, mixed martial arts. I actually trained with my brother now that I was down there. Some intense situation there because those guys are their physical condition and everything and their toughness is one cannot compete. Like the way they one leg kick from those guys and you're already crying in the floor. But I like a little scuffle here and there. I elbowed the walls simultaneously with my both my elbows. Did a stupid thing. My wife wasn't even home, and you know it happened like that, and it took like 2 months to heal, but they healed. So now, one of the things that I was very lonely when I was without my wife, and I missed her a lot, and I was some nights I gotta admit I was having difficult falling asleep. Uh, because I miss my wife too much. So I sometimes I cried myself to sleep, and it made me realize how lucky I am and how fortunate I am to have her and to have the life that I have. Which is something that is hard to realize sometimes when we are consumed by our own stupidity and exactly this break was good for me. Yes, it was. That's what I realized when I was separated from my wife, that this was meant to be a forced break from my life to see it from the outside and realize how lucky and how fortunate I was and how ungrateful I was over letting things like rage and laziness consume me. Laziness, not because I wanted to be lazy, but because I was feeling lethargic, like I was feeling very tired, and that's not normal. I've always been the opposite. I've always liked to have even 18-hour days and work, work, work. And I was losing that. And I was letting this frustration, this anger consume me, not even for a real reason. That's the worst part. It wasn't even, nothing provoked that. It was just something that was getting inside me that was very negative. And the time out outside the country, what I had time to was to think, a lot of thinking, introspection, self awareness, self criticism, and the realization that, man, I really, really, really must have done something good in my life to have the life I have now. So for me, Okay, I'm just reading the comments here a bit. For me, it was great, and for my wife has been great ever since when I was coming back. Because when she left, we were a bit on the down low because of the bad situations that happened to us there. It wasn't the trip we were expecting. It was full of stress, and then obviously being separated for a month and a half, it was hard for both of us. And she wasn't expecting for me to come so changed. Uh, but that's what I prayed for. I prayed to God and I asked Him to help me with my um, temper. That's what I consider to be my worst flaw at the present time. I begged God to please give me serenity, to give me peace, to give me patience, to give me a new look on life, a new outlook on life. And I also prayed God for energy. So energy He got me, He gave me, and patience he gave me as well. So let's see what happens within this next situation. I just wanted to let you guys know what happened during my vacations, why it was so hard, um, and why it has taken me a while to get back on it. Obviously, I came back here 2 weeks ago, and I needed to make amends with my wife, with even my cat. My cat was angry with me when I came back. She was having none of it. She was running away from me. Now we get along as we used to in the early days. I needed to get back in the horse, and I needed to fix some things in the house too, like just lifting heavy things, doing some hammering, screwing, uh, you know, repairing some things, and that's what I've been doing. My wife and I are great. I'm great. I feel good. I'm very positive about life, and I'm very positive about um, my marriage and hopefully children soon. That's it. That's all I have to say. Some people will say that because I don't have money, I'm miserable. Nick would say that. Uh, no, Nick, it's just that I'm not rich. I have money. I mean, I live well. That I don't. What else do I need? I love you too, bro. Brothers in the pine. How are you, mate? I'm rich too, you know. I'm very rich because I have a wife that loves me. She's beautiful. Her family loves me, and they have accepted me as their own. So that right there makes me a billionaire. Um, God loves me and has given me tons of things, way more than I deserve. And listens to me when I pray and gives me what I ask. I ask for energy, He gives it to me. I ask for patience, He gives it to me. So with God on me, I'm more than a trillionaire, mate. Checkmate. You can say that because I don't have money and whatever, uh, that I'm not as fortunate as you are. But I think that in the game of life, mate, things are very good here. You judge yourself. You do you. I do me. Now, in regards to that, guys, yeah, there is a situation with the website. I cannot accept new payments and I cannot accept new cards. The cashier is down. My brother is supposed to fix this. He told me Saturday. So let's see. It's a fix that it's supposed to take a day. And let's see if we can find time this weekend to help me out. That's for you guys who want to resubscribe or want to update your card. The only way I can do that is me manually because I can go to Stripe and put your card number, expiration date, CVV2. But a lot of people don't want to give their card details over the phone, email, uh, chat, and I understand that it's dangerous, and that would mean that you need to trust me with that, which you have the right not to. I would essentially advise you to never trust your numbers to anyone. So why would I suggest for you to trust me? When people ask me via email, hey, I can send you this and this to you. I have no problem with that. I say, are you sure? Because I trust myself. I'm not gonna do anything bad with it, but you shouldn't do that. It's usually not what I would advise, and just because it's my business, my advice ain't gonna change. Um, God is always great. God always gives us what we need and even more. And I'm already rich. I don't have Nick's money. I don't live in Hawaii. I don't have a car. I still need to buy a car, but I'm rich. I have. I love my wife. I have a woman that loves me. She's smart, funny, beautiful. It's been a great experience to be married with her. It's been my longest relationship. Before my wife, my longest relationship lasted 6 months. I was always an eternal bachelor, and now I guess it's just the timing. You know, no temptations. I'm a loyal guy. I don't do things on the side. She doesn't either, and that's the way it should be for everyone. Um, Man, I enjoy Norma. I enjoy playing music a lot. I've left it. I actually want to buy like a cheap keyboard or piano because I really really want to play piano, but it's a bit expensive. I enjoy sports. I enjoy martial arts. I enjoy boxing. I used to play soccer when I was growing up. I used to play like in third division when I was like 15. I enjoy video games to some degree, but they bother me a bit because I see it as a waste of time. I enjoy cooking for my family a lot. It's like an act of love, right? And besides that, I like playing pool. So I might actually, well, we don't have room for that. But if we had room for that, I would probably buy a pool table. And I would enjoy to play by myself even. That's something that on any evening, just now after the live stream, I would go there, smoke a cigar. My grandma, well, she's my grandma now. Where are they? My wife's grandma gave me this for it was for Christmas. It has these are Cuban cigars, Guantanamera, pack of five. I've only smoked one. I just don't want to spend them. I just want to collect them. Um, just smoke a cigar and maybe drink a whiskey and play pool by myself. I like that. I like writing. I like spending time with animals. My dream is to have a farm. My dream is to raise cattle. I just enjoy animals and I enjoy being outside a lot, working, sweating, working the land, planting, everything. I was raised by my grandpa a lot, and they had a farm with. They didn't have horses, but my grandma's brother had a property nearby, next to them. He had cows, he had horses. They had pigs, chickens. So I grew up in that environment, and I love it. I think it's the place where I feel more peaceful at. And that's what I wanted to tell you guys. I'm going to be sending an email to every subscriber to see if they would be willing or if they're able to help us either with a higher rate, a higher fee per month if they're a monthly subscriber. Maybe see if they can help us with an extra $3 or $4 or $5 per month, just to try to balance things out. Because since we cannot accept new subscribers because of this damage on the website, you know how this works. Every month you lose 5 people and you gain seven, or you lose three and you gain two. It's like that. For me, it's like that. So as long as the numbers keep balanced, I'm good. But until further notice, we need your help. We need our most loyal supporters to put their hands in their heart and think, okay, hey, I can spare 10 extra bucks per month to help these guys out. Just with 15, 20 people that do that, we're good. We're already balancing things out. So I'm gonna be sending an email to every single subscriber. If they're a yearly subscriber, gonna see if they want to add a monthly membership so they pay per year and per month, just to help us out, because we are not. If my brother fails to fix this website issue, I will have to hire someone, and it will cost me like $2,000, maybe a bit less. I'm not sure. I need to do the budget, but I cannot afford it. I mean, it's either that or live. So I'm planning to do a fundraiser for that. But I want my brother, and I need my brother to do a budget and tell me how much it is, so I can realistically tell people how much it is that we need. But I'm gonna be sending those emails. I hope some of you can help. If you can't, it's all good. This economy is horrible. I was telling my wife today, hey, we need a solution for this, at least temporary. I'm gonna be mailing some of our people to see if anyone can help with a bit more. We can also help each other by advertising your business, your products. If you do soaps, if you do, like, I don't know, whatever you're selling, if as long as it doesn't have a logo of Satan or some stuff like that, we'll promote it. Let's talk. Let's help each other out. Um, Obviously, the situation with social media is hard, because they do limit my reach, and I wish I had more subscribers than I do, because obviously I think the content warrants it. But then again, there's a reason why we're not as relevant as others, and it's because we don't have those nefarious connections that others do, that protect them and allow them to do whatever they want on social media. We don't have that advantage, and that's fine. We're on the right path. We do this because of the right reasons. At the same time, this is what helps me feed my family. My wife also works. But if things continue to be rocky as they are, I have no choice. I'll have to get a second job, but I need my citizenship, and I need, which is already coming, it should be here in 2 months. And I need to reinforce my resume a bit. So I'm planning to get a full time job. So whatever total disclosure makes is complementary. I have to diversify. I don't know if one day they're just gonna just pull the plug on my website and take it offline. It could happen. And then what? So, I'm analyzing all these situations. I'm just letting you know, with all honesty, what's on my mind. I'll be reaching out to you if you're a subscriber, and you can also count on me on sending you a newsletter, just like I did today, to announce this live, to explain the situation, and to ask for your help once the cashier is fixed. Because obviously, right now, the only way I can accept new cards is manually, and I don't want you to feel compromised to give your information over email, where it can be accessed by nefarious people, or to trust me with your personal information, which is always, uh, it's not recommendable. And just because it's my business, I'm not gonna tell you otherwise. And I'm not gonna tell you you shouldn't trust anybody out there, but you can trust me. That's not the kind of person I am. That said, I hope that I was able to explain everything. Thank you for joining us. It's been 3 months since my last live. I hope it wasn't boring. Um, I hope that you're all in a good position in life and in your heart. I feel good, and I wish the same for all of you. Uh, peace, to have peace is very underrated, and I think that once you have peace, everything else is just easy. And there's gonna be problems in life always. Like today, I had this Telegram situation, didn't bother me that much. I went to work out. I went on my bike. I was 10 kilometers away from home. My wheel exploded. Basically, I went to, I don't know. It could be a combination of two things. I need to lose some weight, and I'm sorry, it's 2 a.m. here. Or I should drive more carefully and not go into potholes, which is a combination of the two, I guess. So it was a rough day, but things are gonna happen. We just gotta focus on the positive, and whenever a tragedy happens inside our family or our social circle, uh, well, we have to try to be strong for the other people that are still here. And in all situations, especially us men, or if you're a single mom, you know the drill. We have to be strong for the people we love, and perhaps I am strong, so my wife doesn't have to, or I worry about certain things, so she doesn't have to worry about certain things. And obviously, she does the same. There's things that she worries about, so I don't have to worry about them. And it's a very nice exchange of. I would say that one of the things that I also had time to realize is that communication is like water for relationships, and if you're not communicating well, things are going to be difficult and rocky. And just keep talking with your significant other. Never allow that to become a habit, to not talk, to distrust each other, to go to bed angry. Those things, avoid them. I don't want to become Dr. What's his name? This guy's funny. Dr. Drew here. But yeah, I guess that's my last speech for today. If you have any questions, please email me. I'm gonna put my email address here just real quick. Let me see. Banners. Okay. That's my email address. If you want to increase your membership, what you can afford to pay us per month or per year, please reach out. I'm going to send you an email regardless. If you want us to put you on a list, so once the cashier is working, you can subscribe and you want us to let you know, send me an email. If you have a question, if you want to come over to the podcast, if you want to work with me, whatever it is, you need help, you need someone to talk to, there's my email. I'm here to try to help the most people I can in any way I can. Basically, that's why I'm here for. And that's it. Many blessings to all of you. Thank you for joining me, and please pray for us so we can. Well, I say we, but it's her. So my wife can get pregnant soon. We're actually working on that, and I will ask you for you to please pray for us in that regard. God bless, and remember, never lose hope, and try to have peace. That's it. Try to be patient. Try to be happy with the blessings you have. That's it. We'll see each other later. I guess I can. Oh, I have a live stream coming with a friend. I forgot to tell you, but I gotta tell you before I leave. I'm sorry about that. Let me see if I can find it. Hmm, Okay, my friend is here. I have a podcast. It's gonna be on her Substack this weekend. It's on Monday morning, June 2nd, 8 a.m. Pacific, and we're gonna talk about different things. She's a SRA survivor, just like me, but she's from Seattle. So we're gonna talk about a few things about the music industry, naturally, and we're gonna talk about waves of control opposition. First wave, the Pawns, 2019, Sasha Stone, Liz Crokin, Craig Sawyer, Timothy Charles Homestead, Charlie Ward, ITNJ, and perhaps Kevin Garnett. We're also going to discuss the second wave. Russell Brand, Elon Musk, Donald Trump, Joe Rogan, Andrew Tate, where Jesse Saboteur, Elon Musk, and Sasha Stone used together in rituals. I have my doubts about that, but we're going to discuss it. Utah, Operation Underground Railroad reveals Tim Ballard, Glenn Beck, Church of Satan, Hijack Mormon Church, What's the Truth About Chris Cornell, and we're going to talk about Louder Than Love, my series. What else? Soundgarden, Kurt Cobain, Nirvana, satanic ritual abuse, and the Seattle grunge scene. That's going to be interesting. What else? Third wave of truth gatekeepers. MK Ultra activated, unaware. Um, so it's going to be quite interesting. I personally think that Anastasia is an amazing person, and I'm looking forward to working with her. She is actually boots on the ground kind of activist, fighting for survivors. She organizes marches to bring awareness to child trafficking, satanic ritual abuse, and mind control. Very brave person, and as she says, her audience is very small. Mine is too. Uh, I mean, if we go by the numbers, perhaps I have like 30,000. No, among all, including my newsletter, I probably have like 60,000 subscribers. But I'm small, nevertheless. Audience size doesn't matter. We all have a part in this war. It's a spiritual war and sometimes physical too. And I'm very glad to work with her. I don't need you to have a big audience to work with you. That's what I wanted to state clear, loud and clear. I'm gonna have her come over to my live stream next week, so you guys can meet her. But I'm gonna be posting the link for her Substack tomorrow on all my socials. So please stay tuned, and please expect ratings to come. Oh, another thing, I keep forgetting things. You see, it's too much things. I need to start writing things down. I'm an old man. I don't remember everything. Let me share my screen here real quick because we're gonna do this in real time. So this is my Telegram, and this is the poll that I did last week. Now that I'm back with a vengeance after some well-deserved vacations, what would you like to see more of? See more of from me? We had 168 votes, and we're gonna stop the poll now. So let me see. Maybe I need to change to my other account. Okay, stop poll. So the winner is the weekly reports. They're gonna be making a comeback. I'm gonna make them every Sunday. That got 24 votes. Then we had the blind items, Hollywood and music exposes with on second place with I think it's 26 votes. 58 votes actually. 58. Weekly report got 62. Then we have on third place new series but short, meaning 1 to 5 episodes, 48 votes. On fourth place, we had live streams. So we're gonna do 2 live streams per week, uh, and then the losers, I guess, were interviews and panels, which not much people want to work with me. I don't know why, but maybe it's my destiny to be a loner. And we have two with 11% each, which is 15, 19 votes each. Mega threads, which is something I used to do on Twitter, and new series but longer, meaning more than 5 episodes. So people clearly don't like series that are that long, and I can understand that. Louder Than Love was meant to be like this because it's my passion project and I want it to be thorough. So this is the final results of the poll. we're gonna follow what you guys asked for, and perhaps in a year we'll do another poll. I do know that before I start my next series, I'm gonna ask you what you guys want to see, and so my advice: follow me on all social media, but the one I'm most active at is Telegram. That could change because we have a problem with them, but you know, social media is what it is. There's not much to do. There's no way for me to control what these people do or don't do, and there's no way for me to control what kind of human Nick is or he isn't. And to each of their, whatever they want to do, uh, it's none of my business. I just want to tell you that I am very focused on turning things around and perhaps improving what we have been doing, putting more content more constantly, and that will demand from me more energy and more patience. So thanks to God, I have them. So now I just need to use them. God bless, guys, and we'll see each other in a few days. 2 days to be exact on Substack, and next week here on Rumble and YouTube and Locals and Twitter. God bless, and yes, have faith, love yourself, and love the wife. Love your husbands, love your wives, love your significant others. Love you all. Hugs and blessings to all.